No, this isn't a mistake. This isn't the same Vectrex as yesterday. We have yet another one in, another expedited service for 1 week repair. This one's come in because it doesn't power on, there's no picture, and the customer wants a full recap. The Vectrex is a cool retro console that has a full-blown integrated CRT. Now it's a monochrome colour CRT, and the controller's even baked in down here, which you lift the flap and it doesn't always fold down, so you can use two hands, and then it comes out nice and easy. And there's a slot at the side for inserting cartridge-based games. It comes with a built-in game called Minefield, which is basically asteroids, and it's actually really cool. This is the 240 volt version, so UK. So we'll still plug it in through our AC bench power, just to regulate the current and to not trip out at any mains when we're doing this. So I normally set it to 230, not 240. No real reason for that. Let's just turn on. And we can see we've got idle current draw at the minute. And to turn these on, you'll see a volume dial. We turn this to the right, and we can actually hear the CRTs come on. And it's booting, so there's the sound of the game. But you can see the screen has nothing at all on. Completely dead screen. So that's the symptoms. Let's take a look. The usual warning when working on these, anything with a CRT can kill you. It's got tens of thousands of volts here, and we've got mains voltage here. So don't do this unless you know exactly what you're doing. The first step we want to do is, if we turn this on its side, we can see the transformer here. So that's the piece on top where the mains come in. And then this steps down mains voltage, so 240 volts here, through a transformer. So now what we have is two phases. We have a center tap on the white and two low voltage 9 volt AC signals. These come in to this power switch here, which is this volume switch here. So that's exactly what we're doing when we're rotating this. The click you hear is bridging one of the 9 volts to this 9 volts here, and the other 9 volts to this here. So we just have a physical switch passing these two red wires through to these two red wires, and the white common taps and becomes your common ground. What should happen then is we should see 9 volt on both of these, and then 9 volt out of both of these when turned on. I'll rest the multimeter on ground up there, which is common to this white wire. Use a high-end multimeter, not the cheap one for this. Set it to volts AC. And what I'm going to do now is probe on first the transformer outputs. So let's use this one first. And you can see we have the 9 volts AC on that wire. Now let's use this one. And we have roughly the same there. So that means hopefully the transformer is good, and it is under load at the minute. Now let's try the outputs. So we want to probe on this pad here, which goes to this red wire here. And we have 9 volts. And finally we want to probe this pad here. And we have nothing. So that would indicate a bad switch. With a comically oversized wire, just bridging the switch for now. That means this is just going to turn on when we actually turn on here, regardless of the power switch position. I can hear that pulsing, so let's just see. And there we go. So the problem now is, how do we fix this power switch? I'm pretty sure it's going to be custom. So let's just try and physically clean it first. And to clean this, we just remove the cap. Spray a ton of IPA in here, which will hopefully soak into the potentiometer slider in there. And just keep moving the wiper blade up and down. We can also spray on the back of it as well to try and soak in as much as we can inside of that switch. With that to the off position, let's just turn on, make sure we get idle, which we do. And now let's try turning on. And that's going to work based on that pulsing sound. There we go. And this is drawing 21 watt, so it seems about right. I'll just check everything works. Now a better fix would be a new power button, because this might not age well, and it was clearly faulty. It could have just been partially faulty and it'll be fine now for years. But what I will try and do is get the part number off the side here, and then see if we can get and supply new power switches, because that would be a more long-term fix. And now we also know that this 9-volt rail here powers the CRT, and the other 9-volt rail, which I believe goes up to here on the other side. Yeah, so it comes in down here, up through a diode to the main 9-volt rail here. That powers the entire rest of the circuit and logic by the looks. So if you get absolutely no screen with no dot or anything in the middle, you want to check this 9-volt rail. Another good thing about the Vectrex is you can almost get a complete collection. There's not that many games. I've got quite a few, so let's give Scramble a go. And what I loved about these is it's similar artwork to the Master System with the kind of checkerboard pattern. So opening these up, we have the cartridge, and what you'll find if you get a good game when you're trying to collect these, mine should be mostly all complete in box. I'll have the manual, so we've got the actual manual for the game here, and you'll also have inside this coloured screen which really sets off the game on the monochrome CRT. The cassettes go in the side facing up and pushing firm. These front panels lock in to these little cutouts here, and now when we turn it on, instead of the monochrome screen, you'll see that it has some nice kind of colours. And it really doesn't come across well on camera, but it does add a nice touch to the screen, instead of it just being all one colour. Now the customer did want a recap on this as well, but I have inspected the capacitors inside and spot checked some of them for leakage, and they all seem fine. So I'm going to recommend the customer doesn't recap this yet and keeps it as it is, and you can save yourself some money.